Press the bell icon on YouTube and don't miss another update.
To be honest, this is a part of a journey that we have been on to become a super app, and the timing is coincidental. It has not got to do with any of the bands. If you look at every other platform which is doing video, um, their core DNA is not content. Their core DNA is possibly technology and product. They are not content companies. We intrinsically are a content company for the last many decades. In this, we have ensured that not even one piece of content comes to the viewer without having been moderated. So unlike other platforms, we don't wait for somebody to report and then take down a content piece.
First of all, thank you. Thank you for joining us. And to start with, Rajneel, why HiPi and why HiPi now? At the time when, all the TikTok ban and everybody is coming out with their short video platform. Can you please explain?
Sure. Hi, Sneha. Good to be here. HiPi as a strategy has been part of our roadmap for a while now. At Zee5, from the very inception, we have always looked at having the ambition of becoming a super app. So over the last 2.5 years, we've done multiple things. We launched with the content from television, which came onto the platform. We have originals and one of the largest libraries and originals that we put on the platform. We have live news. We have live TV. We then launched kids as a category. We launched music videos, food. And about 2 months back, we launched our hyper-casual gaming platform, which is called Play, which is there on the platform. HiPi by itself, we've been working for a little over a year now, which involved consumer research on both the product features and functionalities, as well as the content consumption and the type of content that people like to consume. And then we had been building this product out. So to be honest, this is a part of a journey that we have been on to become a super app. And the timing is coincidental. It has not got to do with any of the bands, because as you can imagine, a product of this magnitude can't be built overnight and put out. And that's why we are where we are, and we are in closed beta testing now to be coming out very soon.
And when do we see the official rollout for HiPi?
Very shortly. I wouldn't give you a date yet, but the beta version of it should be out in the next 15 odd days.
Why did not Zee5, why did you guys plan to incorporate HiPi as a category in the app itself, and why not a separate app for it?
Sure. So, because we have been observing the market very closely over the last 2.5 odd years of us running a very large scale platform, what we have seen, and it's a common knowledge also, is that as smartphones have dropped their prices, the amount of space available on the mobile for users is always limited. Number one. Number two, as far as the processing power of the mobile is concerned, has also been declining because of the price drop as a direct result of that. In that environment, we didn't want to introduce another property on which we would have to get users and then market that, and the user would have a conflict that whether I keep this application versus something else, so on and so forth. The other core reason why we have done this is that Zee5 already has a very large audience base, right? We already have about 80 million monthly active users who we serve on the platform, both on the AVOD side and the SVOD side. So it is easy for those users to be able to discover HiPi content and be able to then consume it. So summing that up, one, it helps in reducing the space that you need to take from a user, number one. Number two, it helps in being able to become another feature that the user uses on the platform, as opposed to having to go to another place to consume the content. So two core reasons because of which we wanted HiPi to be as a part of Zee5.
First of all, I want to ask you, with HiPi, what is your target? What is your target? What do you want to achieve?
Sure. So the way that we look at video in India is that from where we started, we will end up with, at some point of time, about 1 billion Indians who will be consuming video on a monthly basis. So our target is to be having a significant share of that, and that's why, as an overall Zee5, we have built out these different use cases for each of the users who would then be on the platform. And For one user, he could be using everything, or there could be specific use cases that the user uses. This also helps us get across a very different demographic profile of users for each use case, and not just be centered around one core audience that we have to cater to.
Most of the Indians, they associate Z5 as a streaming platform, right? All of us, like I do, everybody. Don't you think this is going to be difficult? And do you think that these audience are going to shift to HiPi? Aren't they two different audience, the creators and people who take Z5 as a streaming platform?
Sure. If you look at all the content, whether it is television or movies or original, which we have on the platform, which users consume today, as we are aware and as you said, these are the same stars who have, because of their fandom, those very users follow them on other platforms, other social media platforms. So on the contrary, I think it creates a beautiful synergy between the galaxy of stars that are already there on our platform, and for us to be able to create a parallel universe within the same platform. So, for example, if we take one of our leading shows and we say that there is an actor and an actress there, and me as a user has a great affinity for a particular actor, when I'm done with the episode for that particular day, I could come back. I don't have to wait till next day to see the next episode of that series. I could interact with or follow the content being created by them on HiPi throughout the day. Therefore, just expanding my fandom to be able to follow these stars and know more about them. So that's how.
Okay. So on that note, do you plan, like TikTok had tie-ups with celebrities? I won't name them, but it had. Do you also plan, do you have similar plans for HiPi?
Sure. We are launching with about 300 influencers when we start. There are about 200 more that will come onto the platform very soon. And it has been both the process of all the influencers who were already part of our galaxy, and all the influencers who have either reached out to us to be on the platform, or who we have reached out to get them onto the platform.
Okay, so if I come to the competitors, right? Every other startup, every other developer, everybody wants to come out with a TikTok rival right now. How is HiPi different from them? What is the differentiating factor?
HiPi has, the core principles on which we have built out HiPi are a couple. Number one, if you look at every other platform which is doing video, their core DNA is not content. Their core DNA is possibly technology and product. They are not content companies. We intrinsically are a content company for the last many decades, and have excelled at creating and curating the right kind of content. We are taking a similar approach to the content which will be available in HiPi, to make sure that it is high quality, to make sure that it caters to a wide set of audiences, and then be able to seed enough things like hashtags, etc., to get the users to start creating content around it. So I think first, as far as our creative strength is concerned, that is unparalleled, which will help us create the right kind of content experience on the platform. That's one. The second is, we are building out a very strong program for creators to have a revenue share out of the content that they would put on this platform. And there again, I think we have an unparalleled reach as far as a brand is concerned, of being able to work with brands across the country, and they're already present on our platform. It'll be easy for those advertisers to be able to find these influencers and then either sponsor their content, serve advertising, or get them to create unique content for them. So that is the other. So we want to make it meaningful for the creators on this platform, and that we would like to do differently. The third is, as far as the core product features itself are concerned, what we are looking at is, sure, it is vertical video and there is a certain experience that users have been used to. We will deliver them that so that they don't need to relearn how to do things. At the same time, around engagement, there are a host of things on the roadmap that we would like to bring out. It will be around gamification, it will be around music, it will be around getting rewards. So a host of things that are on our pipeline which will be coming over the next year. So combination of these three should be able will differentiate HiPi quite significantly.
Second thing that I want to ask you is about, do you have any separate subscription plan ideas for HiPi, or does it come completely under Zee5's?
Sure. As far as HiPi is concerned, it is completely free for the user, and it is only supported for advertising when we are launching. On our roadmap, we will have various things that the users can purchase, which will again create a separate random experience for them. Whether it is digital tipping, whether it is digital gifting, those kind of modules would be introduced. At some point of time, we will also create a separate piece of content which would be available behind whether a subscription or a transaction-based model, which would be on the. So it is on our roadmap, but not something that we're immediately wanting to do. What we want to do right now is to let the users enjoy all the content for free, which they will continue to enjoy for a while, and just enjoy the content. So it's really that at this point.
Correct. Okay. So TikTok has been banned for nearly a month now. Creators have moved to other platforms already. They are getting used to it. Facing issues, yes, but they are getting used to it. Launching, how do you plan to attract those creators to your platform? Like, what is the plan? How do you want to go about with it? Because whoever wants to shift to a different platform has already done it, right? How do you want to attract those creators? And yeah.
So I will draw the parallel to other. So let's park just short form content for a bit where influencers are. Influencers are like stars who need to be seen the most and be able to connect with the audiences the most. Even if you look at other platforms like television or originals, people want to work with credible long-term players and who know that they not only will get them the reach, but also have a very strong interest of the influencers or artists in mind by creating a very fair, transparent ecosystem. I think that is what is still emerging, and I think that is where we will have a fairly distinct advantage. That is one. The second is none of these platforms are by and large exclusive. So if you see one influencer, he or she would want to be available across all touch points to be able to connect with the stars. And that again, we think we are not restricting the influencers from going across various places, but we would therefore, by creating a great credible platform which can provide reach and being able to take on influencers who are working with other platforms also, but surely enjoy the experience of working with us. I think we are in fairly our strategy is fairly good in place to have a lot of them on our platform. And by the way, we already have a lot of those influencers who were moving with us.
Okay, thank you. And next, I would come to content. There has been a lot of issues with TikTok over the past couple of months on the kind of content that the creators are creating. Some are objectionable, right? So do you want to speak about the content moderation plans that you have for your platform?
Sure. So unlike a lot of other platforms, we have a large number of advertisers who have been advertising. I mean, the largest of advertisers work with us on our AWOD platform and have been working with us successfully for a very long time. We have a core brand promise that we need to keep to the brands to keep their brands safe, and the second to our users to keep them safe, which is where on the moderation side we have built out a complete manual plus AI-driven moderation. In this, we have ensured that not even one piece of content comes to the viewer without having been moderated. So unlike other platforms, we don't wait for somebody to report and then take down a content piece. We would rather err on the side of being safe and not have that content up till it is cleared off, as opposed to letting it out there. So that's how we are handling it. As far as the number of people, the number of AI tools used, etc., all of those are scalable as we do. And depending on how the volume scales up, we have all the provisions in place to be able to scale that up.
If you want to add anything else to this, you are most welcome.
Sure. I think two areas that we didn't speak about that I could speak about to round this. First is on the advertiser side. While we are building out content platform for HiPi, we have also built out, like I was saying, the ability for creators to onboard directly on the platform, get verified, and then become a part of the revenue share arrangement. On the other side, we are building out a complete self-serve platform for advertisers, where advertisers necessarily don't need to work with large agencies and then come to us. Advertiser sitting in any part of the country will be able to use a credit card and target the advertising across Zee5 and within HiPi also. So that really democratizes our audiences to advertisers across the geography to be able to get their brand message out. It also helps them create very local advertising contextually. So, for example, one example I talk about always is there's a brand in Hyderabad which is a food chain, and there is a very famous influencer from Hyderabad who's known in those circuits for, say, Hyderabadi cuisine, and the brand would like to get in touch with them. So not only can they place advertising on the content of that influencer, they could also reach out to the influencer and using our platform, be able to create content relevant for them and be able to then advertise for them. So we are looking at creating these kind of opportunities for both influencers as well as the brands. The second part is that we have spent also a lot of effort and energy and resources in building out the AI layer, which will power our recommendation. In-feed video is all a subject. It's all about how smart the recommendation is and how intuitive it can be for the user. So I think that is another area that we have done a lot of work in. And this does not work for only when the user is within the feed. It works for the user even when he just comes onto the platform. And he does not need to really go into HiPi to discover the right kind of content, which would be of interest to them. So two other areas that I thought I will speak about.
Yeah, sure. Okay, I think that's all that I had in mind. And thank you so much, and all the very best for the launch, wherever it is. Thank you for talking to me.
Thank you,
Thank
Sneha.
you.
Thank you for your best wishes.
Yes, thank you.